on top of their main. I need to figure out whether or not he cares about SAP analysis or the website or what. So.
Right. Okay. Did you find the DIC, DCI?
Yeah, we put it up. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
One second. Actually, I don't see it up. Once. Not looking at anything, but it's on here. I thought it was linked next to the others on mine. Okay. Oopgo/tour/compete, right?
Yep, I don't have it.
Hi, this is Bob Cohen.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
This is Pat. Pretty good. This is Patrick and Inad with Oopgo.
Hi there. How are you?
Pretty good. So just to verify, Bob, are you going to be getting onto the GoToMeeting? Are you waiting for the application to load? Are we going to be able to share screens?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the application to load because unfortunately the link didn't work. Even though I have Citrix and everything installed, the link for some reason didn't work. So I'm doing everything manually.
No problem.
Yeah. Give me about a second and I should be done. because I mean I use this all the time. So
No problem. Where are you calling from, Bob?
Lower Manhattan.
Lower Manhattan?
Yep,
Okay.
ground zero for Hurricane Sandy.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard a lot of people. The East Coast. You guys got hit pretty hard the last couple of weeks. Just general weather, right?
But yeah, our building, we were out of our building from the 29th through just the beginning of this month. Actually, we just got back.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't realize. I guess I haven't caught up with everything that happened in New Jersey in particular. You forget that it's kind of there's been a few other weather crises.
Well, yeah, I mean, people, yeah, in terms of people's personals, obviously New Jersey was creamed.
Yeah.
For business, in fact, our office building has the largest square footage of any office building in Manhattan, and so and we're located right next to the FDR Drive, the East River. So we were pretty heavily damaged. In fact, they're still doing construction here.
Wow. So yeah, if you can just let me know once your screen is active.
I'm ready.
Oh, you're in. Okay.
Yeah, I've been in for a few minutes.
So if you don't mind,
I think you should be able to see that I'm on.
Yeah, I see you now. Okay, we're good. If you don't mind prefacing, Bob, I mean, I'm very familiar with your company as a whole, but if you would tell me a little bit about your role and relationship. I know you guys have a few different, Capital IQ is one of the products you have on top of your website as a whole, but your role,
Okay, yeah, I'll give you the 5-minute spiel.
Okay.
Not even the 5-second spiel.
Go ahead.
So McGraw-Hill Publishing separated itself into two entities: McGraw-Hill Financial and McGraw-Hill Education, and is spinning off McGraw-Hill Education into a separate company. And then the remaining parts of the portfolio have been put together into a group called McGraw-Hill Financial, which includes Standard & Poor's Rating, S&P Dow Jones Indices, Cap IQ, Platts, J.D. Powers, etc. Within the S&P brand, there are three companies: Standard & Poor's Rating Services, which is the portion of the company that I represent. There's also S&P Dow Jones Indices, which of course, is where we have the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the S&P 500, etc. And then we have S&P Capital IQ, which was the integration of S&P and S&P's product family and Capital IQ, where we sell products to the marketplace, to institutional and financial planners that help them analyze where the fixed income and equity markets are going, and where they've been, where they may go. Within the S&P Ratings organization, I work for our Chief Information Officer, whose name is Joe Snido, and I run a number of areas for the organization. I'm responsible for governance, for integrated planning, for the PMO, for risk processes and systems, and for business continuity and disaster recovery. So, it's a very, very interesting portfolio, and Joe and the team are just a great group to be a part of. So, I consider myself very fortunate.
Great. Yeah, that was definitely a lot of insight into where you guys are at. On that note, when someone says they're involved in the tech world, so you have a direct relationship. Are you guys in charge of StandardandPoor's.com? Is that your highest website?
As a matter of fact, that is one of the platforms that we own, yes. S&P.com is our, it serves two purposes. One is it is our official regulatory disclosure platform, meaning we have an obligation to provide information free of charge to the marketplace in an effective and reliable manner, and so we use S&P.com to do that. And then also we use it as a marketing site, as many companies do. Okay. We're in the process right now, actually. We have a strategy to kind of separate the two components so that the regulatory component, the marketing component, are actually, discrete, whether physical or logical. We haven't really decided yet, but that's something we're working on as we speak.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Let me ask you personally, given how much of a scope you have covering, do you use your personal company's either competitive analysis or anything website analytics related? Is that something that you have your hands in, or is that someone on a different tier?
Well, it's something that I do, absolutely. And obviously, it's definitely a part of my role, but I am not responsible for competitive intelligence for S&P. That would be a function that's outside of my domain of responsibility.
Okay. Last question on that now, just to keep this as value as possible on what we're going to be showing.
Just so you understand, just to put this in context, I was the CTO and CKO for Capgemini Ernst & Young for 11 years. So you're talking to somebody who has a very strong appreciation for the cost of sales and the sales process. So whatever I can do to help us figure out quickly and efficiently if there's a fit, and if so, where that fit is, it's in our mutual benefit. So you can fire away questions.
Fire away.
Don't find me.
No problem. It's not that. Yeah, it's on the. On that note, yeah, no, I understand all the. Are you currently using? Do you guys know what technology you're currently using for your website analytics as a whole, the core platform?
Quite frankly, our website analytics right now are rudimentary at best.
Okay.
I mean, that's my opinion, and I prefer you not repeat it. But I would say our ability to understand how our website is being used and to be able to pinpoint exactly where it is we are able to do it, but it requires much more effort than it should.
No problem. I think that's all the context we're going to have. So on that note, I know we both have a hard stop in 22 minutes, so we're going to keep this. Oopgo, we're a digital marketing intelligence company, and what we provide, long story short, is a advanced website recreation and analytics, and we also provide competitive intelligence that basically lets you know what your competitors, what technologies they're using, all of their key changes. If they change a headline and it has an effect on their traffic as a whole, we provide that in an automated awareness sense.
Awesome.
So we provide both of this in one integrated suite, and for the premise of this conversation, what we're just going to be doing is giving a very 30,000-foot top-level capabilities overview and decide from there if it's worthwhile to talk in a deeper context.
Okay, great.
Okay. So on that end, I want to verify. So you see your core website on the screen. So if you're familiar, traditional website analytics, I'm going to get straight to the differentiators. Traditional website analytics, Google, IBM's, Adobe's is kind of the current industry leaders for most enterprises.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with Google Analytics, and it does it does what as advertised, but it's basic.
Absolutely. So the common sense difference is someone comes on your website now to standard pores. Let's say they move around for a little bit. They type in information into a search bar, and then they go to a different link. What's being captured by these is only what's captured by the server, creating a record of the transition from page to page. So user goes from, so yeah, on the top level, that's the long. What our product does differently is our technology is capturing about 1,000 times as much data for every session. In common sense terms, what we're doing is if someone moves around and gets stuck on your site for 3 seconds, someone types in the word market research, then leaves your site, we're capturing everything you see as an individual searchable data point. So you would be able to have much better insight to solve such as site navigation problems, what are people searching, pre-submit in addition to what they're actually fulfilling on your site.
Well, that's compelling. Okay.
Yeah. So from a data perspective, that's our big differentiators. We are on the industry leader. We're capturing everything seen on the screen. It's searchable to look through millions of cases, and you can also pinpoint on any particular customer or segment. So the usual applications are usability related, customer experience related, as well as just deeper analytics. If you detect a problem such as someone keeps looking for marketing research, then they're not getting what they want, we need to change how the navigation aligns to the customer intent. So that's the top-level overview on that end. You have any questions on that, or can I keep firing?
Nope, I'm with you. I follow you so far.
So the other side of that coin is because we're storing all of this information, what else we have the capability to do is replay all that information. So let's say you were to look at any particular analytic. You're able to click the play button, and we're creating a playable record based off data as well. So if you wanted to look at any in particular session or any visitor, you could watch exactly what they did to kind of give the whole picture into what's actually happening.
Okay.
Keep keep this pretty. So the premise here from once again, a couple takeaways that usually aren't immediately detectable is for a lot of websites when it comes down to who deal with high value clientele they want to take a closer look at. We can get pretty deep into the psychology behind intent, such as we have a lot of clients who are labeling if someone spends a minute typing a very detailed message, before being solicited or contacted, you can qualify them as a more serious lead than someone who, for instance, is just kind of window shopping for 30 different technologies who's doing a lot of copying and pasting. So that's just one example that may be relevant of aside from the technological capabilities, a lot of the insight here. So.
Excellent. Okay. Well, I think the synergy between what your organization provides and what my particular group does is that whilst I don't own the S&P platform, S&P.com platform, I'm certainly I'm one of the sponsors of it in a sense that, because I have responsibility for all of the regulatory and risk stuff within our information office. I'm ultimately the person they come to if there is questions with regards to how the platform is being used, by whom, in what context, and so forth. So, what you're saying clearly clearly resonates with me. And I have a colleague who is one of my peers who owns the S&P.com platform along with architecture, and probably would be very interested in the analytics part of this and in being able to provide analytics back to us that would help us understand how the platform is being used, which has been, we just recently took over the S&P.com platform just for transparency, and that's one of the reasons that we did.
Yeah, definitely. That's all great. Yeah, I mean, like you said, it sounds like in a lot of cases the gatekeeper on the top level on your end, not the one to dig in once you decide what there's actual value into. So that's at least the takeaway I received.
Yep. So I definitely think there's definitely reason for additional discussions. My recommendation would be if you could forward me a little bit of info that I could use to communicate with the rest of my colleagues that I want to engage, and then let's work through my admin Zuma, and let's maybe have a follow-up meeting with a more formal presentation, and I'll have people in the room besides just myself who I think would help in the decision-making and recommendation process. So I definitely, this is not something I would be inclined to punt. I definitely think it adds value here, and I'm definitely motivated enough and interested in the subject. From my vantage point, I want to get some other people to participate because I think it'll be beneficial to everyone.
Great. Yeah, I really appreciate the feedback. Like, we're not trying to waste each other's time from where you said. So as you said, so on the competitive intelligence, I can give you a 3-minute overview if it's relevant. Is that still relevant on your end, or you said you're not as involved for, I guess, to understand what else we do on top of the website analytics in a raw format? And maybe.
Oh yeah, no, I am. By the way, you'll also you guys don't know me at all, but I kind of hate. You know who Alexander Haig is?
No.
That name even ring a bell to you guys?
Alexander Haig?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So the metaphor won't mean anything, but Alexander Haig was the Secretary of State under Ronald Reagan when he was president. This is not a political thing. This is just an anecdotal thing. Okay. And when Reagan was shot and George Bush was in the air on his way back, he famously went into the White House press room and said, "I'm in charge." And was
right. No. Yeah, I remember that at least.
Yeah, and his career was pretty much ruined because according to the Constitution, after it was ratified after Roosevelt, the Secretary of State is like third or fourth in line after the Speaker of the House, et cetera. So okay. The bottom line is all the things that you're talking about here, these metrics, I'm responsible for all integrated planning and reporting. So all this stuff is, in fact, really important to me. I'm just not in charge of competitive intelligence for the firm, and I also kind of hate to say I'm in charge in general just because I hate the way it sounds, but these are all things that these are all things that fit into what I do. So you're not wasting time, and I'm not wasting mine.
Great. Yeah, this is all technical too. I didn't broaden the scope there. When I say digital, I'll show you from a raw capability. That's going to be the easiest way.
That's fine. Well, I'm a geek, although I clean up well, so you can go as cool as you want.
Great. We're on the same page in those regards then. So So we store all the information on the analytics, and that's for your website traffic. Aside from this, we have integrated into the same platform. We have the first website index that encapsulates every website on the internet. What that means is, common sense-wise, Google, Bing, all of the mainstream search engines people are used to have approximately a fifth of total websites, because the liability is on a website owner to kind of get their attention and get stored. So in a real simple perspective, we have more aggressive storage. We get more information as a whole. Every 24 hours when a website is registered, we're storing all of the information from their page. And because it's not 1996 anymore, you know, our deliverable is not a general search engine. It's a very customized, high-end search engine with KPIs that companies tell us matter to them in this respect. So
Got it.
what I'm going to show you here is one real quick example of a usual deliverable, what it looks like that may clarify, and from there I think will be good to know the takeaway.
Okay.
So in this example, let's say, so we have all this information searchable where you can grab patterns. In your case, let's say a company might want to highlight 3 particular competitors. We would be monitoring their traffic rank changes every week. With these different peaks and valleys, we would also look at the associated changes made, such as if you saw they had 50,000 Facebook likes and a change of a headline this past week, they also had a traffic jump. And you also saw, look, they're using this new technology. It's automated awareness on the top level into what you should take a closer look at. Sometimes it's going to solve the problem as a whole. Sometimes it'll just give awareness to say, this person has 100 million view LinkedIn. I forget what the statistic is called. We have all this tracked in one simple place to get the top level view.
Mm-hmm.
The other piece of this is ones to introduce the other 2 things you might want to look at is people usually will want to look at their competitors very close and take a more broad look on their industry. So if you guys wanted to define your industry as a whole, is everyone who used the word standard within a website, has been around for 5 years, and has this X or Y traffic level. If that number, whether that number was 10 websites or whether it was 10 million, we would be able to tag all of those websites and get broad-based trends, such as what technology changes as a whole are new. And page load speed is one example, but anything that can be tracked on a website, we're storing in a comparative way to, you know, kind of get through the clutter. We are storing a lot more information, but we just give you the insight based on a top-level conversation of here's what we want to see about our competitors. We relay, here's what we're capable of showing, and here's some other things people want to see, and you say, okay, now I get this information on either a weekly, monthly, integral, either through a reporting dashboard or through something where you have direct access to play around with it directly.
Got it. Now, is this something that you host, or how does this work?
We host everything by default. We have a standalone solution, or some companies may want to host themselves. But when it comes to the data load, yeah, that's all internal by default. So.
Well, you do all the aggregating either way.
Correct.
Why would a company choose to host it versus use you as a service?
To be honest,
I'm asking because I don't know the answer.
To be honest, it doesn't make any sense. But some privacy, even though the privacy, everything's encrypted, or some people think privacy-wise they need to have all the data on their servers. So.
Okay.
So that's
okay. And what about getting rid of the? How long do you keep the data for, and under what circumstances do you get rid of it?
Once again, this is a conversation. We have the flexibility to keep for a day or 10 years. By default, I believe we keep it for 1 year, but a lot of companies, everything's modularized. This is a very top level where you can say, I want to keep it for X amount of time, or I only want to keep it for a day. We have all that flexibility determined before we do our adjustments. So.
Got it. Okay. Well, I'm interested. I'm interested. This is this could be very useful for us.
Right. So
I'm assuming that all of the information that you maintain for each client is separate and distinct and.
Absolutely. Yeah, we actually sign NDAs even before. We can't give any information about any clients. We sign NDAs even before having, usually a second, third meeting in a lot of cases.
Yeah, and by the way, and that's why I apologize that I'm being a little bit coy in some of my answers. It's not to be a smart ass. It's just, right now, with everything that's going on in the world, it's just, I've been kind of lecturing my folks just to be really, really careful, with the amount of information they give out. So
absolutely.
Please forgive the fact that I'm not as forthcoming as I naturally do.
No problem, Bob. That's so on that end, Bob. I mean, you kind of gave the answer for a discussion. Would it be different?
Yeah, I don't try to be coy on this stuff. I mean, you know, I'm interested. I think it's something that's worth our while to discuss. I think we probably need about 2 weeks because of things that are going on right now. And just let me know if there's anything I can do to help in getting it set up.
Yeah. So on that, all I wanted to, you had mentioned someone would it be the same target audience that would be interested in the competitive intelligence as well as the analytics? Is that going to be the same?
The competitive intelligence piece is really in our marketing. I mean, that's in our marketing and our business strategy areas. So, and they do quite a bit in this area to begin with, quite frankly. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I don't know what tools they use because they sort of operate on their own, but I know they're doing stuff in this area. So I can certainly, the folks that I was talking about are more people within the information office that have responsibility for information technology, data, and program management. I could certainly, you know, make an introduction to you to our folks in marketing and communications if that's who you really believe your target market is. We can do that now, or we can do it after we have a meeting with our own folks. You know, whatever you think makes the most sense.
Well, I would think the meeting with your own folks, assuming they're not completely outliers in regards to, you know, your structure, like you said.
No. These are all vice presidents and above, and they're all people who are very, very knowledgeable on the subject matter.
Great. Yeah, in that case, that sounds definitely like, I will tell you on our end, if you guys do want to sign, I would rather from your guys' end to send us the documentation.
Yeah, just, you know what, send me a note and we'll send you our NDA, and, you know, we can bang that out very easily.
Okay.
Great. That's not an issue.
Sounds like we're on the last detail worth mentioning on my end is if it helps us if you tell us if you're willing to say anything you're currently using, we can focus on 100% differentiated with the more formal pitch, because that's what
I'd rather that come up during. I'd rather that come up during the next meeting because those are platforms that I don't own, so I'd rather the people that own them disclose them as they see fit.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds fair. We can move on. We appreciate the time that we had together this afternoon, and hopefully, so the next step for Patrick to send him the information and whatever we need to have the second meeting set up maybe in 2 weeks from now?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Okay, I thank you all for your time and for taking the time to prepare this.
Thank you very much, Bob.
Have a wonderful day.
You too. We'll get back with you. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.